Imagine being tired, and no matter how much you rest, your body never recharges. That's what fatigue is like for many of us with lupus. Lupus fatigue changes everything about how you live and work. I'm Dr. Autumn Marie, and on this channel, I help professionals with lupus protect their energy, advocate for their needs, and keep building the careers they deserve. So, everyone gets tired. But with lupus, fatigue isn't just being tired. It stays. It becomes your new normal. And after a while, you don't even remember what regular tired feels like. It's like wearing the wrong prescription glasses for years. And then you just think that's how the world looks. Then one day, an optometrist puts the right lenses on, and suddenly you realize this is what clear vision looks like. That's what fatigue with lupus is like. It reshapes what normal even feels like. And it's not the kind of tired you shake off with a nap or even a full night's sleep. It's like a heaviness that just like kind of sits in your bones. Like just it just lives there. You can rest, but it doesn't feel like your body ever really hits that reset button. Sometimes it feels like you're carrying a weighted blanket around all day. Even while you're trying to look and act normal, the hardest part is you start to forget what it feels like to just be light. You forget what it's like to just wake up energized because that just hasn't been your reality for so long. But here's why lupus fatigue stays. When lupus is active, the immune system is like an engine that won't turn off. Even when you're sitting still, it's running in the background, burning energy. Literally. So while most people's bodies shut down and recharge at night, for those of us with lupus, it's like leaving a car idling all night long. The gas tank is emptying, but you never actually went anywhere. And that's a real impact on how we show up at work. According to a 2025 study, lupus patients in low disease activity still reported a 23% decrease in work productivity. And often it was because of persistent fatigue, pain, and cognitive challenges. But that number really doesn't tell the whole story. What it really means is that many of us are showing up and pushing through at half capacity. And it's not because we lack drive, it's because our body is burning energy just to function. And that invisible effort is real work. Even if it doesn't show up in the metrics, most people wake up with a full tank. We don't. They're ready to take on the day. But with lupus, you can walk into an 8 a.m. meeting already running on fumes. And it's not that you didn't rest or that you're not motivated. It's just that your body has already spent energy just keeping the engine running overnight. So by the time you even open your laptop, before you step into the office or even log into Zoom or Teams, you've already been working harder than most just to get to that point. And that's the invisible part people don't see. The work begins before the workday even starts. And that changes everything about how you navigate your career. And that's the thing. After years of living this way, many of us just get used to it. Like we stop realizing how much energy it takes just to start the day. Like that becomes our normal. And because we've learned to carry it, other people often don't see the invisible weight we're bringing into every meeting, to any project that we're working on, or the conversations that we're having. But truthfully, we deserve to give ourselves credit for that effort. Just showing up is work. Many of the things that we do throughout the day are wins. And these are things that most people don't even have to think about. So instead of just brushing it off or telling ourselves it's not a big deal, because it is, sometimes we need to just pause and acknowledge our daily wins because we do deserve to celebrate them. Okay. So let's talk about the way it feels. It's like being a phone that never fully charges. Having a phone that never fully charges would be frustrating. You would just get a new phone. But we can't do that with our bodies. We can't just go out and get a new body. That would be kind of weird. But going back to the phone, no matter how long I plug in, no matter how much I rest, I don't really remember the last time I woke up at 100%. And just like a phone, when you start the day at half battery, you can't do everything. You have to start thinking about everything that you're doing. You start rationing things out. Like you decide which apps you'll open. You have to decide which tasks you're going to get done, what you're going to save energy for, because you know the battery won't last if you try to run it all to do all the things. That's what life with lupus fatigue is like. Every choice has a cost. Sending an email, going to a meeting, even making dinner, they all use up some of that limited charge, some less than others. And unlike a phone, I can't just plug in for 20 minutes and be ready to go again. Recovery takes longer, and sometimes it doesn't come at all. And here's the harder part. When you have fatigue and it's just stacking up, things like lack of rest, stress, poor diet, and for some like me, even sunlight, the UV, can push us into a flare. And a flare isn't just physical, it's also the frustration of feeling like your body is just constantly betraying you, not knowing how long it's going to last. And then there's that pressure of knowing that you can't just pause life until it's over. So we may look fine on the outside, we may even be smiling, but inside our joints may ache, our bodies may feel heavy, and our brain fog may be so thick that we can't string two thoughts together, or we miss key words in a sentence. It's like a strange mix of feeling out of control inside while doing your best to hold it all together for everyone else. And of course, flares don't wait for a convenient time to show up. They show up right in the middle of the work week, before a meeting, during a deadline. So, as a human with goals, I can confidently say that many professionals with lupus don't just want to keep their jobs. We want careers. We want promotions. We want to make an impact. We want to thrive at work. But we're trying to do all that while carrying fatigue that doesn't reset and then dealing with flares that crash the party without any warning. It's not just about getting through a single workday. It's about trying to build a career when your body doesn't want to play by the same rules as many of our coworkers. And research backs this up. A 2025 Canadian study found that most people with lupus experience some kind of work disability during their careers, not just from the hospitalizations that some people experience, but from fatigue, brain fog, and physical limitations. The study also showed that flexibility and personal control at work were essential for protecting mental health and keeping people employed. This means we have to learn a whole new way of planning when it comes to work, not just time management like everyone else talks about, but we must give our focus to energy management as well. I had to realize it wasn't enough to ask, do I have time for this task? I also had to ask, do I have the energy for it? Will this task drain me or fuel me? Where am I in this moment? How am I feeling in my body? That shift from focusing on how I manage my hours to now also focusing on how I manage my energy is what allowed me to stop running on empty and start creating a career that actually fits my life with lupus. Research keeps telling us what our bodies already know. Lupus affects more than health. It affects how we work, how we're seen at work, and how we feel about ourselves. That's why I created my channel. My mission is to show that we can protect our energy, advocate for support, and still grow in our careers, even when we experience fatigue and flares. This channel isn't just about symptoms, it's about how to thrive while living with them. Because living with them is not an option, but thriving with them is. So, if you've ever felt like your body never recharges, no matter how much you rest, you're not alone. Subscribe to join this community. Each week, I'll share strategies to help you to protect your energy and thrive at work. Grab the free Loop Starter Guide linked below. The Loop Starter Guide is a simple way to just begin working with your energy. You can get started today.